Delhi University admission process deferred after the Vice-Chancellor defies the UGC and refuses to scrap the 4-year degree course. Teachers are divided. ABVP and NSUI students clash over the issue. The HRD ministry saying it will not interfere. So what next for the students? That's the big focus on News 360. Good evening, I'm Palki.
Good evening, I'm Arunodaya Mukherjee. Yes, that's the top focus. We'll get to that in just a bit. But before that, a quick check of what else we're tracking this Monday evening. The CBI wants to conduct a lie detector test on the parents of the two minors who were allegedly raped and killed in Badaयूं in Uttar Pradesh. The agency must seek the family's consent before that.
The abducted labourers in Mosul and the 46 nurses stranded in Tikrit are safe, says the government. As the fighting escalates in Iraq, ISIS militants inch towards Baghdad.
Sugar prices to go up by 3 rupees per kilo after the government hikes import duty to 40%. The centre defends the move, saying it must help sugar producers in crisis.
Today, writing ourselves to the Swiss authorities with whom the ministry has been in touch.
India hasn't received any information yet on black money stashed in Switzerland, says the finance minister. RBI directs financial institutions to provide all documents sought by the SIT on black money.
A train ride turns into a nightmare in Kolkata. A technical snag stalls a metro train in a tunnel near Park Street. Many passengers faint. Ladders had to be used to rescue them.
After days of drama and standoff, residents at Mumbai's Campacola society let BMC officials enter the compound but refused to hand over keys of the unauthorized flats. Their power and water supply is cut.
3 Al Jazeera journalists sentenced to 7 years in prison in Egypt for aiding the Muslim Brotherhood. They were charged with spreading false news and endangering national security. Details of all those top stories right here on News 360.
We're also taking a closer look at the FIFA World Cup, the final round of the group stage at the World Cup tonight. The Netherlands and Chile will meet at Sao Paulo.
We're having a special interactive show at 8:30. Who will Brazil play in the knockouts? Do some crystal ball gazing. Tweet at IBN Live with the beautiful game hashtag. Call us on 0120 434 1895. Join us at 8:30. Have your say. Big story we've been tracking through the day today. The UGC and the Delhi University in an open war over the 4-year undergraduate program, and students clearly at the receiving end.
36 colleges have decided they will not issue the first cut-off list till the UGC and DU resolve this crisis. The Sriram College of Commerce is the first one to release the cut-off list. It was to be issued tomorrow. The crisis meanwhile only worsening, with the DU refusing to send a compliance report to the UGC. The standoff is hardening, with students clashing with teachers during a television debate earlier this evening. An injured professor filed an FIR against the students. Teachers in favour of the 4-year course have said that they will stage a hunger strike tomorrow.
Does admissions beginning tomorrow looks difficult?
It looks difficult. It will take a few days, when we are hoping that the DU will comply, because the DU in this matter does not have the authority to decide 3 or 4 years. They have to go by what the central government decides, which is to keep in mind the uniformity of the patterns and the standards and so on. And this, according to them, was an unauthorized course, and therefore the UGC reconsidered the whole opinion of the Academic Council and has stuck to the same position, and therefore the Vice Chancellor has no choice. By prolonging this confrontation, he is only leading this university into more and more difficult times, and particularly the students. So he should, by now, he should be complying, and the instruction should come from the university to the colleges.
Aman, what happened? What went inside during the meeting?
मीटिंग में बिल्कुल जो 4 साल का जो FIUP यूनिवर्सिटी ने लागू किया, इसको पूरी तरह से स्क्रैप करने की बात कही गई है, और जो स्टूडेंट्स 4 साल के कोर्स में एडमिशन ले चुके हैं कि उनके बारे में तय किया गया है कि 3 साल में उनके कोर्स को वापस किया जाएगा, और फाउंडेशन कोर्सेज और अप्लाइड कोर्सेज को, जो कि हम संस्कारों में पढ़ते आ गए हैं और DU प्रशासन ने ये स्टूडेंट्स पर थोप दिए गए, इनको हटाने की बात कही।
स्टूडेंट्स को काफी परेशानी नहीं होगी जो इस साल एडमिशन ले रहे हैं?
नहीं मैम, उन्हें परेशानी नहीं होगी। जो लास्ट ईयर के जो बच्चे थे वो भी काफ़ी खुश हैं इस चीज़ से। इवन हमने किया है, हम पूरे साल इसके लिए लगे रहे हैं। पूरी हमारा जो संगठन है ये भी पूरे साल इसके लिए मेहनत करता रहा है। पिछले साल हमारे मैनिफेस्टो में था कि हम FIUP को हटवा कर रहेंगे, और जो कि अब लगभग पूरा हो चुका है। यूजीसी ने नोटिस दे दिया है, पब्लिकली नोटिस इशू कराया है, हर कॉलेज के प्रिंसिपल्स को नोटिस भेजा गया है। इस साल जो भी एडमिशन होंगे फर्स्ट ईयर में, सब 3 ईयर प्रोग्राम में एडमिशन होंगे, और जो लास्ट ईयर बच्चे FIUP में पढ़े हैं उनके लिए भी कमेटी बैठेगी।
And tracking this story very closely, our correspondents Meenakshi Upreti at Delhi University, Subhajit Sengupta at the UGC office. Subhajit, to you first, 36 colleges deciding that they will not issue the cut-off list until this standoff is resolved. What's the latest you're picking up on what the UGC is going to do next?
The 36 colleges have decided not to put out their cut-off list till further notice has been comes in from the DU. Apart from that, SRCC has gone ahead and given out its cut-off list. Now, as per that, SRCC is saying they'll go ahead with the admission process from tomorrow onwards, but they will not make it clear whether it's a FIUP course, which is a 4-year course, or a normal graduation course, which used to happen till year before last. So there is a lot of confusion there. Now, the UGC has its task cut off as well, because UGC had asked for a compliance report from the DU, but the DU Vice Chancellor has not given in any compliance report so far. So we will have to watch what next step would UGC take. UGC has the power to take some very stringent action against the university, because University Grant Commission is the body which is the umbrella body over all the other universities of the country, and they are the ones who decide who is to be given an accreditation, who is to be given the grants, and how much money has to go to whom. Now, there are two communications which has happened with the DU between the UGC. First communication was sent to the Vice Chancellor. Now, once the reply from Vice Chancellor came in, another guideline was issued. This was to all the colleges, the principals of all the colleges. So the principals have been strictly instructed to not to admit anyone in the FIUP program, and only to admit in the 3-year-old program. So in this, now we'll have to wait and watch out which way would UGC go, what are the options would they like to take. Would they also like to request the visitor of the Delhi University, which is the president himself, to take a step and remove Vice Chancellor? So these are some of the steps which can be taken. We'll have to wait and watch out for what happens next.
All right, Shubhajit, hold on there. Let's also get a word from Meenakshi Upreti, who I believe also is joined by a few students and parents as well. Concerns growing over what is going to happen. Meenakshi, of course, SRCC releasing that cut-off list, but there's still that element of confusion that still remains. What are students saying?
Absolutely, Arunodaya, an element of confusion definitely remains, even though SRCC has come out with its cut-off list. As many as 36 colleges have decided to defer the admission process. I have a professor and some parents with me, but first to the professor. Sir, you have been speaking for the 4-year program, but UGC has put its foot down, asking for the program to go.
See,
what are the options for the Delhi University now?
My stand is very clear. I stand here in defense of the university's autonomy, and what is sacrosanct for any university to survive. This is the breathing oxygen. And if the university is devoid of its autonomy, there is nothing left. Now the course has been formed within the rights of the university, although I was never a member of anything that, I'm a member of the Executive Council right now, a former president of DUTA also, and FedGuta also. The point is, well within our rights we have framed. The university came into being in 1922 under an act, and the act clearly mandates that the Academic Council, Executive Council, all these bodies are responsible for making courses and curriculums. Now what the UGC has stated, UGC is also under an act subsequent to and after the independence. And the UGC's act clearly states that they are only an advisory body and recommending authority.
Right.
They do not have any mandate to rule the colleges and rule the universities.
Right.
This is total atrocious.
Okay, so you say it's an issue of the autonomy of the university, but clearly it is the students and the parents who have to face the brunt of it. Sir, you have come from Bhubaneswar, you are staying in a guest house. Sorry, you come from Bareilly and you are staying in a guest house right now. Just tell us, with this admission process deferred, what are the problems you are facing?
Actually, I have also come for 5 days, from 23 to 28. And my daughter's percentage is 96.25, so I thought at least I'll get a good college in second list. And today there's a lot of confusion because of the standoff between the UGC and the Delhi University. So I think they both should sit and decide by tomorrow. So the thousands of parents who came from the Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, UP and other states, so they should go with the happiness
Right.
That
So
is that.
clearly, Arunodhay, you can see sort of problems parents, and students who have come from out of Delhi are facing, just waiting, they have no clue whether the cutoff list will come out tomorrow or not, or what will happen, whether they'll be enrolling in the 4-year or the 3-year course. So certainly, it's certainly a very harrowing time for the parents and the students here.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Meenakshi, for getting us those voices, and Shubhajit for getting us the very latest on what really is happening. There's still an element of confusion as we've been reporting. We'll continue to track that, and the matter becoming political as well. We spoke to former union minister in the UPA government, Manish Tiwari, on the issue as well. Listen into what he said.
Fundamental question is that where was the UGC then if they had reservations with regard to increasing it from 3 to 4 years? Why didn't they advise the Delhi University at that point in time that what you are doing is not in consonance with the national education policy or whatever policies that the UGC has? If you go around reversing graduate programs, in this manner and gerrymandering with them, you have made the university a complete laughing stock and you have played with the careers of millions of students.
Don't you think the Congress should have checked and tried to intervene at that point in time?
Well, the fact, as I earlier pointed out, that there were apprehensions. You're right, I have been the former president of the NSUI. I'm fairly cognizant of the concerns which the NSUI had raised, and they were valid concerns, absolutely. I'm not saying that the concerns are invalid.
So it's the UGC versus the DU is the 3-year versus 4-year course debate caught in the web of politics. That's the talking point tonight on India at 9 with Bhupendra Chaubey. Let's now bring you the latest in the Badaयूं rape and murder cases.
Now, according to sources in the CBI, which is now probing the case, the agency wants to do a polygraph test on the victims' parents. The CBI seeking their consent first, as is mandatory. Remember, 2 minor girls, sisters, were raped and allegedly murdered in Badaयूं in Uttar Pradesh last month. The case was transferred to the CBI after demands from the parents, and the matter getting more political. 5 people, including 2 policemen, have been arrested so far. Our National Affairs editor Bhupendra Chaubey joins us from our newsroom this evening. Bhupen, if the CBI is going down this road, this certainly will come as some sort of a breather to the Samajwadi Party government, which has been battling this in a political environment as well. We all remember what kind of statements came in from the state DGP as well.
Well, the State Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav would be looking at these developments very, very closely, because the first concrete move which has been made by the CBI is to conduct a polygraph or a lie detector test on the parents of the girls itself. Now, that shows that the CBI at the outset is not buying this theory that these girls were raped and murdered. Now, that's something which had also been suggested initially by a few leaders of the Samajwadi Party, and that had kicked up a huge political storm. The BSP got into it, the BJP got into it, and Akhilesh Yadav had to face the brunt of it. Now, the CBI essentially wants to be clear in terms of the line of investigations it wishes to pursue. Should it be looking at this as a case of honor killing? Should it be looking at this case as a case of kidnapping, rape and murder? The CBI at the moment is not clear on that one, which is why they've decided to conduct this polygraph test on the girls' parents.
All right, Bhupendra Chaubey, thanks very much for putting that in perspective. We'll be tracking the investigation very closely. Let's now get you the latest on the situation prevailing in Iraq and the Indians who continue to be stranded in the war-torn country.
The Ministry of External Affairs has said that there are 120 Indian nationals caught in the conflict zone. Around 17 have been moved to safety. Indian officials trying to help the others to get out of the conflict zone. On the 46 Indian nurses trapped in the ISIS-controlled city of Tikrit, the MEA says that they are all safe. Indian authorities are in constant touch with them. Many requests for evacuation have also come from Basra, but the MEA is saying that all those people who are there are safe. It's 500 kilometers away from the fighting zone.
We have approximately 120 plus Indian nationals in the conflict zone, of whom 17 we had indicated to you we were able to successfully remove from the conflict zone. As regards the 46 nurses, we are in constant contact with them. They remain safe. We are every day in trying to obtain information, corroborate information, and then confirm that information. And based on that, I can confirm to you that they remain unharmed as of now.
US Secretary of State John Kerry is in Baghdad on a surprise visit to meet with the Iraqi Prime Minister. This even as the ISIS takes control of 5 more towns. Reports say they're now just 4 hours away from Baghdad. The ISIS also calling on for a march on Baghdad as well as Karbala and Najaf, which are both holy Shia cities.
Well, as ISIS militants carve out their territory in Iraq, the Kurdish minority has formed militia groups to defend their autonomous territories from the ISIS onslaught.
CNN's Zarwa Damon brings us this report.
24 hours before we arrived south of Tuzhurmatu, ISIS had attacked, catching the Kurdish Peshmerga unit off guard. It won't happen again. Peshmerga commander Colonel Hakim Karim Ahmed watched ISIS appear just an hour after the Iraqi army withdrew, casually staking their claim without firing a single shot. That used to be with the army. He points out a two-story building just a couple hundred meters away. They came at us from 3 directions, Colonel Ahmed tells us. The battle lasted for 6 hours. In the distance, an Iraqi military vehicle commandeered by ISIS.
The intersection that this combat outpost is protecting is incredibly strategic. Saddam Hussein's hometown of Tikrit in that direction. To the north, the oil-rich city of Kirkuk. Suleimaniye in Iraqi Kurdistan to the east, and then to the south. A 2-hour drive, a straight shot to the capital.
The Kurds, a population with a long and tormented history, vow they won't give up this land. As ISIS and Sunni fighters carve out their territory, the Kurds are making sure they stay out of theirs. Arwa Damon, CNN, Salahuddin Province, Iraq.
Now in more news, an Egyptian court has sentenced 3 Al Jazeera journalists to 7 years in prison. The journalists have been charged with spreading false news and endangering national security. The court has also found that 3 of them are guilty of aiding the Muslim Brotherhood. In fact, that has been the big concern, really, as Al Jazeera has also protested that.
Focus on the developing situation in Iraq continues. We're taking a break. Lots more coming up ahead.
Right, and our focus also on the upcoming budget as we go listen into what people in Bangalore want from the budget this time around. Stay with us.
If I were the Finance Minister of India, then I would reduce taxes for everyone earning up to 10 lakhs of rupees. Because so much of our income goes into repaying education and housing loans, that the rebates for such a loan is still not good enough.
That's the other big story we've been tracking. After a 3-day standoff, BMC officials have disconnected power and gas supply at the Capacola compound.
Remember, the BMC officials had been facing stiff resistance from the residents who'd blocked their way all these days, but finally yesterday they gave in and they said they will allow officials to cut off essential supplies to the 90 illegal flats in the compound, but they still refuse to hand over the keys to those flats.
आप फाइनली अंदर आ चुके हैं कंपाउंड में. क्या टास्क है, कितनी आपकी टीम्स हैं, कितने फ्लैट्स के क्या कार्रवाई होगी?
कैंपाकोला कंपाउंड में टोटल 90 अनऑथराइज फ्लैट्स है. उसका इलेक्ट्रिक सप्लाई, वाटर सप्लाई और गैस सप्लाई डिस्कनेक्ट करने की कार्रवाई आज शुरू की है. हम कैंपाकोला कंपाउंड में आ चुके हैं और हमारी तीनों एजेंसी की 4 टीम यहाँ पे काम चालू किया है उन्होंने.
National News Finance Minister Arun Jaitley saying that the government will write to Swiss authorities to expedite the process of getting information on those who've stashed black money there and strengthen channels of communication.
We are today writing ourselves to the Swiss authorities with whom the ministry has been in touch, so that details with regard to whatever information the authorities have can be expedited.
And on his mind will be the budget, of course, and the budget session of Parliament will take place from the 7th of July to the 14th of August. The railway budget will be presented on the 8th of next month, while the general budget is to be presented on the 10th of July. The dates have been finalized after a cabinet meeting was held today.
The government has increased sugar import duty from 15 to 40% to help sugar farmers facing a crisis. Sources telling CNN that wholesale sugar prices could increase by 2 to 3 rupees per kilo.
The latest on the governors resigning. Sources telling CNN that Nagaland Governor Ashwini Kumar has told the Home Minister Rajnath Singh that he is willing to step down. Sources also telling us that West Bengal Governor M.K. Narayanan has sought more time to make up his mind. Meanwhile, the President has accepted the resignation of Shekhar Dutt as the Governor of Chhattisgarh.
Kolkata passengers were stuck after a train broke down inside a tunnel on the Kolkata metro rail line. Several passengers fainted. They had to be taken to a hospital. They were evacuated using ladders. The metro services have been hit after the technical snag in one of the rakes near the Park Street metro station around 11:30 a.m. Here's another break on News 360.
That's right, and after we come back, we'll be focusing on the FIFA World Cup. Is there a twist awaiting Brazil? Tweet us at IBN Live with the hashtag #BeautifulGame, and you can call us on that number and we'll take your calls. Stay with us.